All right. Good morning to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning also to those of you on the West Coast. Welcome to Movers and Shakers Unlimited. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, also co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And also will have my colleague joining me, Jason Edmonds, who is also an automotive enthusiast and aficionado. I'm going to bring him on now. Jason, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hold on, I think you're muted. Go ahead.
Hey, Brian, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. So, with that, as you can see in the title, we have a terrific guest, on tap for you guys. But I wanted to be able to, touch base briefly on the show at hand, and then I will introduce our guest. So, this weekend, of course, we have the 2026 edition of the Washington Auto Show. That kicks off at the Washington Convention Center here in the nation's capital, bringing a variety of brands and their respective vehicles to the public. Today, as the show commences, we here at Movers and Shakers Unlimited are once again excited to have our special guest joining us this morning to talk about the show. Our guest has been here before, but I'm glad to have them back. They are the president and CEO of the Washington Area New Automobile Dealers Association, otherwise known as WNADA, as well as the Washington Auto Show. It is my pleasure to welcome back John O'Donnell. So let me bring him on now. John, good morning.
Good morning, Jason, or Brandon and Jason. How you doing?
Good. So, as I said, great to have you back, John. And I guess I'll, get the ball rolling by just asking. I know this time last year we were talking at the tail end of the show, and now we are talking, just prior to the show. So, I'm just curious, what does that look like now that, because that's a different feel of being at the beginning of your said show versus, at the end. And as we will know, no matter how much you can plan, you still have to be prepared for what may come.
Oh, yeah. You're exactly right. And I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse, but we always seem to have something big happen during the Washington, D.C. Auto Show. Last year was the horrible helicopter accident above the Potomac River next to Reagan Airport. And then a few days later, the Doge cuts with Elon Musk were announced. And as you know, a lot of our attendees are government workers. So it's been challenging. And now, of course, this year they're talking about the storm of the century. But we are here. We are open. We had a fantastic public policy day yesterday, off the charts in terms of the manufacturers that were here, the products that were unveiled and revealed at the show. Cabinet level members talking about very real world auto manufacturing challenges, a lot of which is coming out of China and the whole electric vehicle movement versus the current Trump administration pushing consumer choice. In other words, what kind of car do you want, as opposed to the Biden administration and California that was heavily pushing consumers to purchase pure electric vehicles. So it's been only 1 year, but it's such an incredible turnaround for consumers being able to purchase what they want when they want.
Indeed. And getting into what you were mentioning about the public policy day, I was there and on hand yesterday and had a chance to sit in on part of the conversation. And could you share more about just that hot button issue of autonomous vehicles? Because I feel like just to give you just some idea. Prior to this, a couple of weeks ago, I was at CES, and even in Vegas, they already have some semblance of that, I guess you can say, in the beta capacity with the Zoox. I don't know if you're familiar, so that was really fun to be able to try those. But with that comes the the issue of privacy and all other types of things of safety. So
Yeah, and yes, I'm very familiar with Zoox. Mark Rosekind, who used to be the NHTSA administrator, is now with the company, and they've come to our show and had various engagements. With respect to autonomous vehicles, there's so much to talk about. The technology, how it can help certain people that aren't able to currently drive. So somebody with a disability, maybe you're even blind, but now you can get around. But there's also security concerns. What happens if through over-the-air updates, I'm able to hack into your vehicle? Maybe I
yeah,
want to cause some mayhem and I want to crash your vehicle and wait for the first responders to come there. But I take control of the first responders' vehicles and I crash those as well. So there's very serious terrorism concerns with autonomous vehicles. And several years ago, we had the Commerce, Science, and Technology field hearing here at the Washington, D.C. Auto Show to talk about what should the regulations and the rules be for manufacturers and software makers who are creating these autonomous vehicles. Because as of now, a little bit of guidance has been issued, but it's sort of the wild, wild west if you're a manufacturer or a software provider working on autonomous vehicles, because you're not entirely sure what the rules are. So what are you liable for?
right.
Uh, right. So that's kind of an interesting point. Different countries around the world have taken various steps with autonomous vehicles. Basically, there's two schools of thought. The first is let's let the market determine what this technology is going to look like. What are autonomous cars going to be capable of doing, and how do they do it? What's it going to cost, and all that? And then the other school of thought is the government should come in and they should dictate, okay, car manufacturers and software developers, these are the rules, and you can only operate inside of these rules, which is great for safety for consumers, but it's probably going to stifle innovation. So which do you favor? And I don't know that I have the answer, but I can tell you at the field hearing that we had here at the DC show, they wanted to pass legislation, and the legislation was defeated, sadly, by the trial attorneys. Apparently, I was unaware of this. There's a tremendous amount of money to be made with lawsuits related to automobile crashes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'll punt it over to you, Jason. Question that you had.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. So John, you mentioned an ongoing debate in support of electric cars and trying to remain unbiased with both consumers and policymakers. But I wanted to shift gears just slightly with global supply chain concerns impacting vehicle prices. How is the show, or if the show is evolving consumer messaging to respond to sticker shock?
Yeah, you're exactly right,
I
Jason.
think you're muted.
Sticker. Oh, Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's good, and I can hear
I'm
you. I can hear
okay.
him
All
fine.
right. Good question, Jason. Affordability is what you're hearing out of both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans right now. And it's a problem. The average car in the US is 13 years old. The average new car to purchase is $50,000. The average monthly payment in the US right now, $772 per month. That's a lot of money. The car dealers are very concerned that the product that they're selling is becoming unaffordable. What do you do? And the problem is our legislators, in the name of safety, continue to pass more and more laws that the manufacturers have to comply with when they're making these cars. And year after year, there's another law and the cost goes up. The people passing these laws are not economists. They don't have a business background, but they're on the side of the angels, right? Hey, we're making it better for the consumer. And all of that is true. But we need to figure out how much legislation is the right amount, because people can't afford these vehicles. It's possible to find a new vehicle for high 20s, low 30s. But again, the average car in the US right now is $50,000. I'm not sure where this winds up, to be honest.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And, and getting to, I guess the next question I would ask is diving into the show side of things. Could you share? I know this time last year you were commenting on how early those preparations go into having this show ready to go, and it made me think of, okay, what are those things that you had a chance to take a step back and look at with the 2025 show to add as additions for this show? Because I understand that there are a couple of additional exhibitors that you have this year, but you've also expanded one of the features that you have in terms of the experiences.
Yeah, a great point, Brandon. So the auto manufacturers are telling us, hey, auto shows, you need to reinvent yourself. Need to be more of an experience. And we've really taken that to heart. So we have some brands that are returning, right? That weren't in the show last year. We have some what I'll call startup, as opposed to legacy car makers. So Tesla's here, Lucid is here, Ineos, which is an Australian company, is here. VinFast was coming. They're a Vietnamese pure electric vehicle. They pulled out at the last minute.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of product here, but we're also including companies like Harley Davidson this year.
Right.
We've expanded our exotic car area. I think we have 10 vehicles in the exotic car area that are a minimum of $1 million each. So those are aspirational vehicles and the public loves it. But then we're also family friendly. There's a lot of stuff for the kids to do. They can even drive little small cars here on site. And the adults can drive real vehicles. For example, right now I'm looking at a Chevrolet ride and drive, Toyota, Lucid, Kia. So you can come down and take a lap around the city to see whether or not you like that particular car. And then there's another way to really enhance the overall experience here. If you get down on that lower level, you'll notice an awful lot of Star Wars themes. It's a local charity that is dedicated to the sciences. So if you're familiar with the acronym STEAM, STEAM.
I am, yeah. You had them
Yeah.
last year, yes. I don't know if it's the same group, but
So those guys are amazing. They're attempting to entice young men and women into learning the sciences by experiencing Star Wars characters, but also the technology that supposedly would occur in the future. Really neat stuff. And then we also have automotive rhythms. That's a very cool urban activation. We've expanded that as well.
excellent, excellent. Punt it over to you, Jay.
Hey, thanks for that, John. So I have a question about the marquee brands. Which it seems like there are fewer and fewer marquee brands participating in the auto show year over year, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed the auto show so much, along with the dynamic experiences like the driving experiences and the Jeep experience where you go up the trail and everything. So with that, with BMW and Mercedes and Porsche and the like, what concrete steps are you and the auto show taking to bring these marquee brands back to the auto show?
We very much would like to have these brands back. Land Rover, for example, they're back this year. But you're exactly right, Jason. The German luxury brands are boycotting essentially. And it's not just the Washington, D.C. auto show. This is nationwide. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. But we are actively trying to get them back in. And one of their criticisms is that the auto shows are expensive for a manufacturer, and they are. But they're saying auto shows don't even sell cars. And by the way, our brand, and I'm picking on Mercedes as an example, or BMW, our brand, our consumers, they don't go to auto shows. This is what they're putting out in the public. That is not true, but we've never been able to prove it until now. The Washington, D.C. Auto Show is the first auto show in the country, and we're working on a patent for this technology to be able to match a consumer who came to our show to a specific VIN that was purchased, so that we can establish a return on investment for Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and everybody else, frankly. So we know last year that our show, the Washington, D.C. show, sold 6,436 vehicles. We can prove it. I was able to get a meeting with the chief marketing officer of Mercedes when she learned about this new technology that we have. Frankly, I don't think she believed it, and I don't have a contract with our partner yet, so I wasn't able to tell her too much about how we're doing it. But I'm really optimistic that this new technology is going to benefit our show, but also other shows around the country. Because we know from being here all day, every day, that people are very disappointed when they come to see a brand and they're not here. But that also opens up that same consumer to selecting a brand that is here. I'm hoping that maybe Audi, BMW, Mercedes see the light and the wisdom of returning.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm going to ask a practical question here. When you're talking about the just the show in general and being able to determine how long a given show is going to be. I mean, when we're talking about the auto show, it's a substantial amount of time for folks to be able to check out the show. Has there ever been a discussion one way or another of saying, okay, we might need to extend this, or we might need to condense it in terms of what's available, and being able to kind of determine with data that you have that, this is kind of the sweet spot of having the show be, this specific period of time?
Brandon, I spend way too much time analyzing exactly what you're talking about. Because, Jason was mentioning affordability of a vehicle, and that's important, of course. But we're also talking about making these shows affordable for the manufacturers who are here exhibiting. They have a lot of costs. They have to bring in product specialists. They have to put those people up in hotels. They have to provide for transportation and
lights, yes,
food and beverage.
Yeah.
So they have to pay us because we have to rent this
the venue,
convention center. So there's a lot of costs that the general public wouldn't necessarily think about. So it's our job to think about that, to try and get those Mercedes, BMW, Audi manufacturers back into the show. So we talk about, should it be 10 days? Should it be just one weekend? Should it be 5 days? What are the hours of the show? Should we open up later? Should we close earlier? And really what we found, and I've been through this a lot, what we found is opening up at noon, shutting down at 8 p.m. unless it's a weekend. It seems to be the right mix between what consumers want to experience, what the manufacturers are willing to pay for, and frankly, you can see these bags under my eyes, and it's just the beginning of the show. We need to a little bit of a break as well. But I can say this: the shows are fun, man. Right? It's a good way to spend the day, especially if it's bad weather outside.
Yes.
So everybody here, including the building staff, they look forward to this all year long. And we've got some very cool, like I believe you saw the unveiling of the Lamborghini Temerario yesterday.
Yes, I did.
That's never been seen in the
Wow.
United States before. So
Yeah.
if you have an extra $625,000, you too can have one.
Right. So, I'll punt it over to you, Jason, for your next question. But yeah, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, I wish I had an extra $600,000 for it.
Don't we all?
I'm willing to loan it to you at a very reasonable rate, Jason.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I particularly enjoy the supercar element of the auto show. I remember years prior, I think it was pre-pandemic, you guys had the third level. It was another level with just strictly like the exotics or the supercars on that level, and I particularly like that. But I see you guys are expanding more family friendly, because I've been going to the auto show since I was a kid. I'm a DC native. And so I've always loved the auto show, and I take my son there. He's now almost driving age. So, it's also cool to see him getting more engaged in the autos that are there. You've expanded the family friendly attractions like the Kid Zone and the e-bikes. How do these areas factor into your goal of broadening the show's demographic appeal?
So that's a very good question, because we get a lot of that. We get a lot of inquiries from the manufacturers. They want it to be as diverse as possible, right? They don't care about race, creed, color, religion. They care, are you willing to purchase my product? The dealers are merchants. So the idea here in DC is to make it reflective of the local community. That's who lives here, right? If you ever want a great interview, Kamatni Rollins is one of our partners, and he operates Automotive Rhythms. So you have kind of an urban hip hop area of the show. But as you mentioned, Jason, you have the exotic area. That's been greatly expanded this year. Then you look at affordable cars, like mass market cars, and everything in between. Now we're not doing too well on that luxury. So if you have inexpensive cars, mass market cars, luxury, and then the exotics, the luxury brands are where we're most lacking right now. But as I mentioned earlier, we're taking steps to correct that. In terms of, is there something for everybody to do here? Yeah. I don't care if you're disabled, we can handle that. I don't care if you're young, old, male, female. These days, I guess they, them, whatever. The idea is to appeal to everybody and have something for everybody to do. I think our average dwell time is around 4 hours. So it's a day, like it's an experience, and that's what we want. We want you sticking around and maybe even catching the rest of Restaurant Week, which the city coordinates to overlap with our show. So the city wants you here too. These convention centers are paid for by taxpayers, and they're owned by the citizenry. So come on down, check it out.
For sure. Well, John, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. I'm not going to keep you any longer because I know that you have other things that you have to dive into. Jay, I don't know if you had any additional questions.
I'd just like to say
We can
thank
do
you
to wrap it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I'd just like to say thank you for your time, and just one quick question, 30
Sure.
seconds.
Go for it.
What's the single biggest risk factor facing the future of auto shows?
I would say it's cost, right? The manufacturers want to support the shows, but I mentioned China earlier, and I don't want to belabor this. I know we're ending the show. China has set out to be the world's dominant force within the automobile industry, and frankly, they're well on their way. They control all the rare earth minerals if you want a pure electric vehicle. But even if you don't, you just want a combustion engine. In the US, we sell about 16 million cars a year. China is selling in excess of 26 million per year. In the US, we have 3, maybe 4 manufacturers. In China, they have more than 150 manufacturers. So their production capability enables them to sell cars very cheaply. They don't believe in intellectual property. They're fine with stealing. It's frankly part of their culture. I've been over there many times for business, and they don't call it that. They call it learning from the market leader. Well, that's us. When they do this, it puts a lot of financial pressure on the legacy car makers: BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Toyota, General Motors, Hyundai, Mazda, you name it, because they have all of these costs built in, and they're publicly traded for-profit companies. Well, these Chinese companies are being subsidized by their federal government. They have an unfair market advantage, and that's really putting a hurting on all the manufacturers I just mentioned. So it's kind of high-level chess play amongst nations, but we as consumers are sort of on the sidelines waiting to see what happens. And on top of everything I just mentioned, we start out by talking about autonomous vehicles. That's the next wave. Who is going to dominate autonomous vehicle technology?
For sure, for sure. So with that, we're going to wrap up the show. Of course, we have the Washington Auto Show happening at, as I said, the DC Convention Center, commencing today and going on until February 1st. John, thank you so much, as always, for hopping on. And with that, we are going to wrap it up. So thank you guys so much, and be safe. See you guys next time.
Thank you very much.